The Talking Cheeseheads on cheeseheadtalk.com.
I have 5 main takeaways from the Packers' loss to the 49ers yesterday. 5 main things to take away from this ball game that you can kind of digest through the week and as you enter into the rest of the season. Because here we are a year later, and it's the same thing. This time it was just a loss at San Francisco. Probably among the 3 games in the last year now that these two teams have played against each other, this was the most competitive, the most entertaining, the most big plays by big players, that sort of thing, in those 3 games. So you have to be a little encouraged. But I would say this, takeaway number 1 for me has to do with Mike McCarthy. And Mike McCarthy, probably rightfully so, assumes that Jim Harbaugh is going to go for it on 4th down. Okay? Because why else would he accept that penalty, which led to this entire bizarre chain of events where Clay Matthews either should have been fined, suspended, or maybe kicked out of the league for life by going up high and leaving his feet well inbounds to then hit Colin Kaepernick out of bounds. Was it a good hit? Absolutely not. Was it stupid? Absolutely. Stupid, stupid, stupid by Clay Matthews. Stupid. Can I say it again? Stupid. You would have had a 4th down, and probably they would have gone for it, I'm going to assume, because I think that's what Jim Harbaugh does. You know, until somebody really knocks Jim Harbaugh around, he's going to do that stuff. Same thing with Kaepernick. And they can do it, and it's going to drive Packer fans insane because right now the Packers are owned by the 49ers. They have actually bought up the majority of shares and own the Packers, okay? That's the deal. It's like the Cowboys in the 90s. The Cowboys of the 90s sold their majority shareholder piece of the Packers to the 49ers of the last year plus. And it seems like it's going to be that way for a while because can you see the Packers overturning this? I don't know. I mean, I know it was a close game, but I don't know. So McCarthy obviously feels like Jim Harbaugh is a gambler. That's why he took the penalty, which led to that whole strange sequence of events. And by the way, no, he's not supposed to know that offsetting penalties, he will now, I guess, lead to a 4th down, not a redo. But come on. I mean, for people who think, he's got to know that. He's the coach. No, he doesn't have to know that. You know who's supposed to know that? The NFL officials. Remember when they went on strike a year ago? These aren't the replacement refs out there, okay? They're supposed to know that. Not that it made a huge difference. I just don't think that it did. Because everybody assumes that Harbaugh would have kicked the field goal there. I do not. I can see Jimmy going for it because you know what? Packers couldn't stop him, right? All right, second big takeaway from the ball game yesterday. The Packers answered the question of physicality. They did. They may have gotten torched up and down the field, from here to the sun and beyond by Colin Kaepernick, Anquan Bolden, Vernon Davis, just a couple other guys who were just there and wide open. They might have gotten absolutely torched. But they didn't allow Colin Kaepernick to run unless they blitzed, which is why they didn't blitz, by the way. I heard people calling, why didn't they blitz more? What happened the one time they blitzed? Colin Kaepernick for 20 around the right edge, right? Or left edge, whatever it was. So they answered the physicality question because they didn't let Kaepernick run all over him, and they didn't let Frank Gore run all over him, and they hit hard, and Johnny Jolly makes a difference. That's encouraging. I will say this, it's encouraging. Are you encouraged by their pass defense? Not so much, but front 7, I guess, a little more encouraging. So, yes, physicality question answered. Well done, Dom Capers and the Packers. You can stop the run. Now let's work on the other part of the game. The third takeaway I have is that I'm finding it hard to believe now that the Packers will ever be able to stop Colin Kaepernick. He beats you with his legs, and then yesterday they say, well, can you beat us with your arm? Sure. Now, was it like maybe a college quarterback on Florida State or something, or Alabama, if you go to modern times where everybody's wide open, so it's pretty easy to beat you from the pocket? Sure. I think so. But I just don't see the Packers being able to stop him. I mean, they sold out to stop the run like I was just talking about, to be physical enough to take away the read option, which did the 49ers even try the read option? I don't know. I guess I'll leave it up to some newspaper guy to research all the plays and let me know. It didn't look like it to me. But they gave Colin Kaepernick some time by design because they couldn't rush him with, reckless abandon because of what he does. They had to make him stay in the pocket and throw. They said, beat us with your arm. They're covered in tattoos. We don't know if you'll be able to throw the football. Well, guess what? He can. And he can throw it pretty well, especially to wide open guys. So I just don't see them ever being able to stop Colin Kaepernick. What they're going to need is a full and healthy secondary, and then they might be able to slow him down enough to outscore the 49ers. Fourth takeaway. What does this loss mean in the grand scheme for the Packers? Week 1 loss to the team that everybody thought you were going to lose to anyway. And so to me, it means just about nothing. In fact, I actually take more away on a positive notion for the Packers than I do negatively. Am I distraught that they, again, let receivers run wide open through the secondary? I am, indeed. But to me, they played well enough and had enough going to where I'm encouraged for the rest of the season. Okay? And I'm encouraged that this team will still be a playoff team and still be among the best in the NFC and still win this division. I'm encouraged by all that stuff. I still think and believe fully that that's going to happen. And I anticipated a loss in week 1, and we had a loss, and we had an entertaining game, and you had a lead in the fourth quarter against the defending NFC champ and a team that absolutely owned you last year. So to me, that's a step in the right direction. And my fifth and final takeaway, 5, is the 49ers are the best team in football. I know. John Elway, Peyton Manning, put up 7 touchdowns, and the Broncos look great against the Ravens, who did not. On opening night, you have Atlanta. They got beat by the Saints, and the Saints might be up and coming. Who knows? But I just don't see a team that can put together the total package defensively and offensively in football right now the way the 49ers do. Everybody thinks the Seahawks, they're trying to anoint the Seahawks. Well, we'll see when those two teams meet. But I still think the 49ers are better. They have more talented defense. They have a more talented offense overall, I believe, than the Seahawks do. So that's my fifth. Packers are going up against the best team in football yesterday. They had the lead in their place in the fourth quarter. That's pretty good. Is there a lot to work on? Yeah. Am I frustrated by some things? Yeah. But, all in all, I'm encouraged because the gap has narrowed a bit. Has not closed at all, narrowed a bit. At no time in that game did I feel like the Packers have the upper hand or they're better. Not even when they took the lead, really. But they can play with them. And if you get a couple guys back in the secondary and clean up some things, you might be able to have a shot at them in the playoffs and win. If they play 10 times, Packers might win 3 or 4 times. Well, they're 0 for 3, so in the 7 more times, that means they've got some wins coming, right, if they do meet again this year. So those are my 5 takeaways, Packers, 49ers, Week 1.
The Talking Cheeseheads on cheeseheadtalk.com.